Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about shit that I've learned in crypto. Right, so I've been investing in crypto for several years now. I was in the last cycle as well as fully on this one. And when you're doing something for so long, you should evolve. You should learn a few things, right? And in this video, I'm going to go over just things that I wish I knew the first 3 or 6 months I was investing, right? So again, not financial advice, but these are things that might behoove you to think about. If you're newer to crypto, I would definitely recommend listen to these things. Listen to what other people say that they have learned. This way you can learn secondhand more lessons than learning firsthand. Right? And I'm going to do a lot more than just, don't be emotional as you sell and buying the red, selling the green. Though those are two very important things that almost nobody actually does, so do those things. But I want to hit 5 or 6 things that I have learned. If you've been here in the market for a long period of time, let's compare notes because we all learn different things based off of like what our investment style is, what our experiences are. So feel free to put down below things that you have learned and let's just share amongst the group. I'm going to get a little specific on a few of these things, and none of it should be like earth shattering revelations, but they're things that have changed the way that I invest and changed the way that I look at things over time. So that's what I get into right now. And again, please, as always, put your thoughts down below. I really do appreciate and enjoy just going back and forth with you guys. So, fine, let's just roll into some no bullshit things that I've learned. So real quick, another caveat. Again, this is all from my perspective. So we could have the exact same experience, exact same outcomes, and learn something different from it. And this is where it would be really cool to tell me what you guys have learned differently, specifically if they're in similar situations. So first thing I want to start with is I've learned do not rush spot buys. Right? So what I mean by spot buys, I mean buying crypto you're going to hold for a while. Right? Buying it spot. So I definitely have found myself in the past rushing specifically to try to get a new position. It's like, oh, what's a good price to get into it? And if your confidence is going to go up over time and it's a long-term hold or plan to be, then maybe it is just best to buy some then. But I have found myself rushing at times to buy them when I think it's at a good price, but just a good local price. And I guess it's just being in the market longer. I've seen that crypto prices can always go down further. If you think it hit the bottom, it might have. It might have. It could also go down further. And there was times I just wish I didn't jump the gun so much. And that's where I usually got emotional, I guess, was getting excited into buying a new position. Because overall, I've never had a huge issue dealing with emotion. With buying, selling crypto, whatever. I don't like seeing my portfolio down, 30, 40, 50%. But that was never really hard for me. But getting excited jumping in on something and waiting for the better moment to buy it, that's something that I've had to work on a little bit. To where I really, unless there's a damn good reason, like a huge catalyst coming out, I won't usually buy a new spot position, at least not a large one by any means, unless there's a local bear market. Things go down, which is why I wasn't really buying new positions for the last year. I just got in Alinea now. So that spot, when it comes to swing trade, I do things differently. Actually, that's a point we'll get into in a few minutes. And to kind of, I guess, piggyback on my idea of not rushing spot buys is I think I would end up buying more at a time. Right? So I got into the habit of frequently with DCAing specifically, I would see a price go down below my average and pick a fucking coin, right? It doesn't really matter. In coin A. And as soon as it goes down lower, I'm like, okay, it's in my buyable zone. One, I felt like I've had to learn to wait a little longer to buy it, wait to see where it goes. And then buy in larger groups. Because I would find myself buying a little bit, not sure if it's going to go higher or lower. And so if it goes a little higher, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I wish I would have bought more. And if it goes lower, I just buy a little bit because I don't know where the bottom is. At this point, I wish from this, I've learned just to buy more at one time. When you know the prices are low, again, crypto prices can always go lower. But when you know it's low, that's when I'm going to start jumping in with a larger buy in good times for new positions. Because I found myself just more so nickeling and diming, specifically the micro caps. And maybe that was actually part of it was I didn't have enough conviction in those micro caps to know if it's a good price or not. Okay? Tertiary on this one. Again, this is going to probably be one of the larger items of contention. So please let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. With my style investing, what I've learned is I'm going to be buying more large caps. I'm going to sheer much further away from the micro caps. I'm not saying I won't get in them, um, but I won't be focusing on them nearly as much. Granted, some of this comes down from what my little bit of strategy, but my risk tolerance and what my goals are. Right, I'm closer to 40 than I am to 30. I got a family. I'm trying to grow everything and keep it a little bit safer. I'm not really willing to put thousands of dollars into a 15 million market cap or lower coin on Solana to see if it 50x's. That's just not for me anymore. I'm going to be buying far more large caps. They're less volatile. They are far more likely, not always, but far more likely to have real utility or a big utility coming in. And the utility doesn't always matter. Long term, it definitely matters. I'm not saying it has to have utility go long term, but it certainly makes an impact. But it helps with the volatility and the stability of things for sure, just being larger caps and having a utility of constant use. Um, Again, I still own a few microcaps. I'll get into down the road, but where it would be maybe I had like 40% to 60% in large caps and the other 40 to 60 whatever in micro caps, I probably now I go much more to that 80 to 90 large caps. And then more of my micro caps are going to be either just a let's see how this fucking goes and get some conviction into it. Like Linea isn't a micro cap, but it's a smaller one. But I got a lot of conviction in that one based off of the backing that I think it'll go long term. But I don't want to play with too many more small caps. But that's from what I've learned from my history and want to do a more just stable style of investing, not dealing with this stuff as much or guessing which microcap is going to go through a narrative or finding out that these two discords talked about this microcap so pumped up 12x in over a weekend and then everyone sold off. And it's not the game I want to play with anymore. But that's me. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that like microcaps, so I'll be curious if you've experienced what I've described, and maybe that's why you're into it. They're great for swing trading. That'll use my low caps for a lot more swing trading. Now, with that, when I swing trade, at first I thought I wanted volatility, right? And I've had a lot of success in swing trading. But initially I was looking for volatility for a swing trade, and I've learned I want more actually stability for swing trading. Um, Let me give you a good example of it. XRP was probably my best swinging coin. Never owned it spot, or I did just to swing it. But it was like every 4 to 8 days, it would move by about 12% up and down. It was wonderful. Like it was very almost clockwork for about 4 months. Just put a little bit in, watch it go up, sell it off, watch it go back down, throw it back in, and just lather, rinse, repeat. And that was working very well for me. Yes, know your tax man, know the laws and everything in the area that you're at, because that can get a little iffy, specifically if you end up losing on a swing. But swing trades, I learned I want stability, but give me a good varying degree of that stability. Illuvium, I didn't do it nearly as much as I did XRP, but it was between the $80 and $120. This was about 2 years ago. You can tell by the prices, right? It would just swing. It was great. Turbo. I made more money off of that swing than I have on any other meme coin. Granted, if you guys have been here before or several times, I'm not big into memes. It just isn't my bag. But swinging turbo between 0.003 and 0.007, it went up and down there for the better part of like half a year, three-quarter of a year. It was lovely. So I've learned when I'm looking for swing trades, I'm not looking for volatility. I'm gonna look for more of stableness in a certain range. Because if I just take 10% every week, okay, fine. I got to give a partial of that to the tax man, whatever. No one likes paying taxes, but if you're paying taxes, it means you're making money. Um, but that's what I've learned with swing trades. Now, this next one isn't so much, I guess, something I've learned, but more of something that I've gotten better at and I want to just continue double downing on and realizing how it's important for my strategy, the way I like to invest. right? The simple term, no one's ever gone bankrupt by taking profits. Guys, closest thing to financial advice that will ever go on this channel is it never hurts to take profits. Okay, guys? Like, I even have a little system, and I wasn't sure about, like, I doubted myself. It was you freakers who did it too. No, but I mean, like, I got a lot of shit for when I first sold Hbar like 2 years ago, a fraction of it, right? Um, and this only got me to double down on this concept for me is for large caps specifically, or pretty similar from small caps, but I will always sell to protect my initial investment. Uh, if I have a crypto, depending on how quickly it goes up and what my plan is or expectation of it, if it goes up 3x, I guarantee you I'm going to sell at least a third of it. Why? Sell a third of something at 3x, I now put out my initial investment and I'm safe. Everything else is profits. For coins that go up a lot faster in a short period of time, or are micro caps more likely, I will sell a fifth at 5x. And I did this with Hbar. Again, this was probably about 2 years ago. You can check the charts to see. My average is around 6 cents. It got up as high as 37 cents at one point, but I sold around 32. And when I sold at 32, man, I got reamed out for it. Like, what do you mean you sold it for under $1? I was told I was going to bankrupt everybody because I sold Hbar for 5.5x profit and I'm bankrupting everyone. I'm a fool. I'm an idiot. All that fun stuff. Um, and after doing that, I wasn't sure at the time. It was going up. I figured pull out a fifth. Cool. I was good. It only ever went up to 37 cents after selling at 32, and it hasn't gone back up since. Right? It hung around like 22 cents for a little bit. It hung around 18. Now it's hanging around 10. And God, in hindsight, I wish I sold all of it. Not because I don't like Hbar, love Hbar, but wish I would have sold all of it to rebuy at now or 18 cents or lower. I would still have more Hbar tokens. And the amount of tokens you have of an asset is more important than the average that you got in at, specifically if you're going to hold it for a long period of time. So I've only learned to double down even more on taking profits, and I have a strategy. It's very cut and dry. A third at 3x or a fifth at 5x. Pull out my investment so it's safe. So that way at that point you cannot lose money, or at least I can't. And I really like that method. Um, yes, not all crypto is going to 3 or 5x in a short period of time, but I guess the bigger point here is have a plan. I know everyone says have a plan, but actually have a fucking plan. Right? Know where you want to sell it, what's your goal, when are you going to do it. I have sell orders that are all set for any crypto I have on exchanges that I think might hit sometime in the near future. I have buy and sell limits set, so that way things happen when I sleep. Lovely. And then lastly, you can always make money in crypto, right? No matter what the type of market there is, you can always make money. And this has really freed up a lot of my worries and thoughts about, are we in a bear market and we bull market? I don't care, right? It's how can I make money based on the market right now? And bull markets, it's probably not buying too much spot. It's probably swinging and selling the crypto that I already have from the bear market. Bear market, I don't expect to make too much money during it, right? It's the putting all the money that I have or they can afford to lose, putting into crypto that I'm confident is going to go up significantly over time. When we're having major dips, you can short, you can long once you think the short is done. You can swing, you can do liquidity pools, you can work DeFi, you can farm. I mean, hell, you can always switch to another asset. Oh my God, I know someone in crypto is telling you can actually look at other assets, right? Not because crypto sucks. Sentiment kind of does at some points, but I'm in stocks a little bit too. It's not like I'm just in crypto for it. I swing stocks. Um, Actually, there's a couple I swing or have in the past. And I'm looking getting pretty deep into copper recycling and everything for several different reasons. But there's always ways you can make money in all markets, either in the same market that you're in, or you can always expand. The market is never a reason for you to think you can't make money. At the very worst case, if you have excess funds that you can afford to lose, buy stuff that are cheap when it's a bear market, right? It's always an option. So I could probably make a part two on this, but these are the largest things. So, what were the biggest lessons you guys have learned, and how long have you been in crypto? Right, like because if you tell me a couple things that you've learned in your 3 months in, it's gonna be a lot different from hearing what the guy that's been in, 5 or 6 years, 10 years. Very few of them at that point. Anyway, there's gonna be a lot of different things to say. So I'm curious. Let me know your guys' thoughts below. And as always, thank you for being here. I appreciate every one of you. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.